All right, so this is Mr. Walker in your math class, and I'm going to be briefly going over this assignment that looks like this right here on the left side of your screen. In this assignment, what you're doing is you're naming polynomials. So if you look over on the right hand side of your screen, that is a polynomial, and we're going to name it. And when we name it, we're going to use two words. The first word will refer to the degree. The second word will refer to the number of terms. And I'll tell you what all of that means. First, we're going to start with the degree. And if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see right there it says degree. So I'm going to tell you what that means. When you're looking at a polynomial, you'll see these little numbers up here. These are called exponents. That is an exponent of 4, and this right here is an exponent of 3. The degree is the biggest exponent. So I have an exponent of 4, I have an exponent of 3. The biggest exponent is the 4. So what is the name when the biggest exponent is a 4? Well, if you go over to the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see where it says degree, right there. Go down to 4, and you see that's called a quartic. That's always going to be your first word. It's going to be either constant, linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, or quintic, depending on which is your highest exponent. Again, our highest exponent was a 4, so we go to 4, and we use quartic. So I'm going to write that. It is a quartic. Remember, I said it's going to be two words. So there's another word we have to use, and that refers to the number of terms. So I should tell you now that a term is anything separated by addition or subtraction. This right here on the right-hand side of your screen, this and this are separated by addition. Therefore, this is a term, and this is a term. How many terms are there? Well, there's 1, 2. There are 2 terms. So if we go over here to the left-hand side of the screen, you can see where it says term. 2 terms is called a binomial. So that is a quartic. Now let me get my pen. That is a quartic binomial. And then on this assignment, what you do is you go over to the problem, you go over to that yellow square and type in the answer. And I'm going to type in quartic. Make sure you spell it right, because it's going to tell you if you get it right or wrong. Quartic binomial. And if I get it right, that square is going to turn green. If you don't get it right, it's going to stay yellow. So you see how I typed that in and it turned green? That means it's right. Let's move down to the second one. On that second one right here, I have a negative 10. I'm going to change the color. I have a negative 10x. So again, we're going to name it using 2 words. First word is going to refer to the degree. So you remember I said the degree is in reference to these little numbers here. Do you see a little number here? Do you see an exponent? You don't. And if you don't see an exponent, that means the exponent is 1. So I don't see an exponent, therefore it must be a 1. And I go over to my degree. There's the 1. I call that a linear. Okay, so that's going to be my first word. It's a linear. Remember, I said there's 2 words. Now I've got to see how many terms do I have. Remember, a term is anything separated by addition or subtraction. I don't see any addition or subtraction here. So there's only one term right there. One term. So if I go over here, term, one term is called a monomial. So that is a linear monomial. And then I go over here and I type that in. I type in linear monomial. And if I get it right, watch what happens. When I click outside of that block, it'll turn green. If I get it right, it turns green. If I don't get it right, it will stay yellow. And yeah, let's go ahead and look at that one right there, the one that says 2x squared. Again, I'll change my color. We have 2x squared. Again, we're going to name it using two words. The first word is going to be the degree. The degree refers to the exponent. Well, the exponent is a 2. If I go over here, I can see a 2 is called a quadratic. So that is a quadratic. And my second word is going to refer to the term. How many terms are there? Well, there's only one term right there. One term, if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, is called a monomial. So that is a quadratic monomial. Okay, and then I go over here and I type that in. Quadratic monomial. And if I get it right, when I click outside the box, that box should turn green. And it did. And let's finally, let's look at this one right here. This will be my last example. Now let's see if I can erase this. There we go. So I'm going to do that one that's highlighted on the left side of the screen after I erase this right here. That one is negative 5x to the fourth plus 10x minus 10. So I'm going to name this polynomial. And we start out with the degree. So remember, the degree refers to these exponents. And we've got to use the highest exponent. Well, I have a 4 right here. This x, you don't see an exponent. If you don't see an exponent, it's a 1. Okay, so I'm looking at a 4 and a 1, which is the highest exponent, the 4. And if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, if your highest exponent is a 4, it's called a quartic. So that is a quartic. My second word is going to refer to the number of terms. A term is anything separated by addition or subtraction. So this, and this are separated by addition and subtraction. How many of them are there? 1, 2, 3. There's 3 terms. If I look over on the left-hand side of the screen, I can see that 3 terms is called a trinomial. So that is a quartic trinomial. And then I just type it in right here. I'm going to type in quartic trinomial. And again, if I get it right, when I click outside that box should turn green, and it does. That means I have it right. So go ahead and try the other ones and and see what you get. If you have any more questions, just come out to an email and I'll help you out on the rest of them. All right, talk to you later.